Hello there my friends, the editor here, welcoming you to today's King of Limbo. This time we are doing Emerald Comet. Now the reason that I'm introducing you this time is because I did the editing portions of this podcast. So feel free to check out my channel if you want, as well as all of the other co-hosts that were part of this podcast, being Toon Critic Y2K, Lightening Bliss, British Ninja, Emerald Comet himself. Also, don't forget to check on Fandom Frenzy for the latest How Not to Brony episode, and many more to come. Thank you for your time. Okay, OBS is starting and it is working. Okay.
Oh yeah, here, let me double check with that. Start recording.
There we go.
Greetings. I'm just
Hey,
doing
there
a
we
mic
go.
check right now.
I haven't been on one of these in a long time.
Hey.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought I was going crazy as well. I didn't see the call going up either.
Last time I did a double backup actually paid off because I only got the first 20 minutes on OBS, and then I think
Does OBS cut out after a while?
It's finicky. It has its problems.
It just chooses to crap the bed periodically.
So if you hear like munching sounds, I'm still finishing off like my food.
Oh, me
That's
too.
fine.
Yeah, no, the minute I was like, well, if Emerald Comet isn't going to be here, I'm a fat guy, I'm gonna go stuff my face. I wish I was recording that. Tell me you got that, Adair.
I got that.
Oh, cool. No. Was that Lightning Bliss?
Who is blowing
Yes.
raspberries?
I was gonna say that's either Lightning Bliss or Fluffle Pup. Either or will do.
When's the last time you've been on one of these, Bliss? I forget.
I think it was your turn.
It was Golden Foxes, wasn't
Were you one for Will?
No, it was
No.
Yeah,
No,
she
I
was
know-
all for cartoons.
Yeah, I know cartoons. I know FNGR's asked me like a couple of times to come on, and just when I think I could, I ended up saying I don't know this person well enough to give them fair questions, or something kept coming up. I don't know.
But yeah, at least you know Emerald, so.
Duh! Emerald's in my Thunderblight saga, and
Speak of the devil.
he's in the Revenge of Thunderblight saga. He's also been in one of my magic lessons, so
You can
yes,
give me
I
an
know
idea
Emerald.
for a really fun question.
Yes, and then you turn
I already
into a
have-
tennis ball.
Yeah,
I already have a good
Talk
question.
about someone when they're standing right in front of you.
Oh, wait a minute, I hate this podcast then.
I think
Oh,
this
wait.
is one of the 5 times I've talked to Emerald Comet on Skype.
Oh, is it?
Oh, he's chill. He's super chill.
Oh,
Love
no.
this guy.
No,
We
Yeah.
talked to him at we talked with him at BC. He is super chill. I'm just rubbing it in that he's never around.
I'm so sorry. I'm here one moment and then I'm gone the next. I'm like a silent fart. I drift around the
You're,
place.
you're like a
What the
ghost.
fuck?
I like silent fart better, but okay.
That's the quote of the day. Emerald Comet, I am a silent fart.
I'm watching. It's my
Unheard, but kind of deadly.
watch that.
I don't see that. Emerald's a sweetheart.
Yeah, no, I don't have any problem.
Aw. Oh, thank God.
Dude, first time
Now
we
you
meet,
see why I
oh my
brought you
God, and you're a big motherfucking sweetheart. I'm like, I don't want you to go.
I missed leaving. Like it was. I don't get teary-eyed very often, and I didn't when I was leaving BC. But like I had that feeling of like, oh, like it's gonna be years until I see you guys like in the flesh again.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I didn't tear up till I got home, and then I started talking with Aeon because Aeon had like really bad post-con depression, and when he started talking, then I started crying. I'm like, I have regrets.
Yeah.
I did get to hang out with everybody as much as I wanted because I was stuck in this stupid
The
end
curse of
table.
the vendor hall.
That tiny little corridor that you had. It was an ordeal tracking you down, by the way, because I was like going all over the place. Because like I know the Bliss is around here somewhere. I'm going to find her if it kills me. And
Did I
then
tell
you're
you-
Brony actually tipped me off pretty well. It was like, you find the big black tent, you find Blissey.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
like, here's a story about that. Apparently Josh Scorcher was trying to find me too, and he ended up giving up because he couldn't find me. But at one point, he got so desperate that rumor has it that he stood in the middle of the vendor hall and shouted out, "Has anybody seen a cute rainbow alicorn? If you have, come out!"
About
to the
yay
sound-
high, he holds up to his leg.
Yeah.
listen for the sound of reeing in the distance. That's her. Just like really quietly, just like you hear just Blissy going.
I was about to be completely honest when you kept asking for Lightning Bliss. I was like, she doesn't come on. Yeah, I won't tell him. If I can get her, I can get her.
Oh, no, I'm
I
not
can
trying
see.
to avoid your podcast, dude. In all honesty, it's just shit keeps coming up for me, you know?
No, I got it. I just didn't want to be an overly nuisance. May God be willing. I hope this goes well enough so I can try and re-ask Vector again, because I was...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, back to
If
bro.
That was a shame that fell through, actually.
Yeah. Have you sorted out a date with him yet?
I was going to take a snapshot of the call and send
Take
it to
him
him.
to dinner first.
Actually, myself and British actually ran into Vector by accident at BookCon.
Yeah, I remember that. He was really cool.
Yeah, we were at an ATM and he just casually passed. And I was like, "Oh, hey, Vector Brony," because it was funny because like literally 5 minutes before you were like, I really want to find Vector Brony somewhere and just talk to him. And then lo and behold, who walked past?
Aside from Vector Brony and like Owen, I knew no one at that convention. We do not
I wish
speak
I could have
of the
spent
Wing
more time with you, Ninja and Emerald. You two were a blast.
You know what?
As
I
we-
just got added
as
to my
we-
question list. Emerald Comet, would you care to elaborate about the wing incident?
No, you do not talk about the Wing incident.
The wing
Don't
incident?
mention the
That-
Let's
things.
just say there was quite a backlash after going to
you
Hooters.
were there. What?
Oh no,
What?
they weren't there. This is after the Sunday. You know, after we say goodbye to everyone, it's like, well, I'm sorry. I went to Hooters earlier. I made a horrible decision.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Oh, by the way, yeah, Vector says he's interested in the first 2 weeks of October, and I was like, oh, that's wonderful.
Sweet.
Speaking of conventions, Ninja Comet, are you two going to UK PonyCon?
And no, I don't have enough money.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, like I've got college starting in 2 weeks, I think. So like my schedule is still up in the air. So you know.
Let's do the intro. I'm going to try and go as high energy as possible. This is FNGR. Welcome you to someone I've been trying to get for like 2 years now. Joined by the following co-hosts: the editor,
Sup, bitches?
British Ninja,
Top of the morning to you, laddies.
yeah, Lightning Bliss.
Y'all made rainbows in your lives.
What the Y2K Toon Critic? Did I get
I
it right?
fucking hate you, Ninja. You stole my intro.
Trained him well.
All right, that'll be his response there. And this week's King of Limbo, I ran out of breath because there's like 5 people in here. Emerald Comet.
Good evening, Everpony. Good to see y'all.
All right, here. Let's see. Since we were actually talking about BC, tell us your happiest moment at BC, and don't forget the wing thing.
Is there an everything option? Because that was honestly just like one of the most magical weekends of my entire life. I know we were talking about like people coming back with post-con depression. I honestly thought that there was something wrong with me because like I didn't actually have any post-con depression. It was like there was like a gentle high of like the 2 days afterwards, but I was like where I was just still really happy about it. But you know, just meeting internet friends for the first time in real life, you know, just like all you guys, everybody here in this call collectively,
You were a mountain
buying
among
cool stuff,
men,
just
then.
like what?
I'm not gonna lie.
You were a mountain
I-
among men then that didn't get post-con depression.
I didn't get post-con depression. I just got post-con sickness. I was sick for like a crap.
Yeah, you were
I
pretty
didn't
sick.
get con crud. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I felt a little sad when I was having a. This is when Emerald had just left the Irish airport, so I'm just catching my plane back to jolly old England, and
Yeah.
like I'm having a coffee and it's quiet, and I wasn't. I've had a weekend of loud shouting and fun. To sit down, have a coffee, and it be quiet was kind of somber, you know.
Mm.
You didn't have some, you know, tating Irish person sitting next to you,
And the
cracking.
coffee was crap because it was from McDonald's.
Yeah, Ninja, I know exactly how you want about not having somebody next to you the entire time.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm gonna have to edit myself out there acting like a weenus. Anyways, here's a
won't.
question that I don't have written down that I can have all 3 British people ask.
Oi!
Who spent the most money getting in and out and while there?
Oh my god. that's-
Are we talking flights, hotel, and tickets, or?
Oh yeah, let's start. Ed, since you seem to be on the ball, you seem like a good example. Like how bad for all those fine British gentlemen who want to go to Brony Con next year.
Set the bar.
Yes, let's see what a tickle costs.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll just go through what happened. I booked the hotel for 5 nights in October at the prices, and that was about $730 just for the hotel. Flight wise,
Well, you split that 3 ways though, right? Or how many ways? Or
no, I paid for the whole thing, and Crimson's going to give me the money back when she can.
oh, so you're getting about at least half that. So
Yeah,
like
so-
375.
I'll probably give her a discount.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Let's say 200. So you're 500 in the hole so far.
Yeah, pretty much.
Christ. Okay, sorry.
Then I had to book a flight from, well, I had to drive all the way from Cannock all the way over to Manchester, then a flight from Manchester to London, then London to New York, and then New York to DC, and then get an Uber all the way for an hour up to Baltimore. And
Damn.
all of that was about 650.
So we're about 1100. Okay,
Yeah,
let's keep
then,
going.
yeah, then it was 100 for insurance. Yeah, and then bought the crap out of Crimson over there because it was our anniversary in the same time as Brony Con, so I've just bought her as many things as I could just to make her happy. And probably I spent about $200 on her that way. Then there was about 100 spending food everywhere.
Oh,
did you buy any plushies?
So he's almost at 2,000, isn't he?
No, he's 1,400, I believe.
Yeah, I saved up about 3 grand to go over there, and I've still got just under $1 grand left of spending money.
Oh, about 2K. Damn.
So
Nicely done.
I was right.
Yeah, you were right. Actually, I followed your advice on that video, Bliss.
Oh, I'm glad that helped a little bit.
Oh, it did.
You could also thank Aeon and Toon for that because they had some pretty authentic tips there. I'm not gonna lie.
It's so much easier when the con is in your state. It's a little bit difficult when you have to fly a little bit. It's even more difficult when it's all the way across an ocean.
Or across the flippin' planet.
Across the planet.
Like what we decided on in the end was that like a British would just like come over here to do immigration in Ireland and then fly over there because like. The original plan that I think that we had was that I would actually come over to England and then we fly over, but like then you'd have to go through American immigration, and American immigration sucks. I'm just going to be kind of just very upfront about that. I went
New York was the fucking worst.
Would you believe?
No, exactly. Like I had one time when I was just waiting in JFK for like a layover, and it was I'm going to say like 45 minutes waiting in a line that consisted of 10 people. With like a very scary looking person sitting behind a desk just like asking you a bunch of very straight faced questions.
And you know he has a loaded gun behind that thing as well.
Yeah,
probably,
I hate going through the security. The
10 of
security
you
for that
arrived,
is
only
god
one
awful.
will leave.
Yeah. Would y'all believe that I mean, when I heard that Emerald and Ninja were coming, I'm like, I was super excited, and then y'all ran into some hiccups with the flight arrangements and stuff. I remember everybody in Zack's chat was flipping out that, oh my god, what if they don't make it?
Yeah,
Really?
I
That was a thing. We were all sitting there worried, just like, oh, okay, let's see, how bad is this going to be? Do they have hotels? We were going to try to help them out because some people were panicking. And as amusing as it was now, it was a very tense situation for a few hours in my group.
I was like, Ninja and Emerald, they're not going to make it.
Well, that's always the best part of all the horrible things that happen at BC. As long as you survive, they're the great callback stories of later on. This is somewhat unrelated, but when did you find out that Munchkin missed your flight?
Yeah, we heard about that too.
Yeah. Weren't we at the Hard Rock?
I think we were.
Yeah, the first time I heard about that was at the Hard Rock thing, and they're like, "Oh, Munchkin missed." I was like, "Oh, that's
really bad."
That was about the first time I heard about it too. Yeah. Oh crap! Sorry.
Yeah, that was. I think we all found out at the dinner. Yeah.
Did you have to rebuy another ticket or what?
No,
not.
They just literally missed their flight, and they gave them a rescheduled flight, and she didn't get there till midnight. Yeah, was that right?
Yeah. I think
I've been asked about that. If you miss your flight, that you don't have to pay for another one.
Oh no! Because I missed my flight in New York because the waiting line for that was fucking mental. I'm saying like after filling in immigration papers, and then there's this guy behind the desk saying like, "Sorry, I filled this in. What do I do?" I said, "I don't care. Just join the stupid line." I'm like, "Right, you're really helpful." And then I'm there for like an hour waiting. Then I've got to take off like shoes and watches and all that stuff to go in a line between like I don't know why, but I was in a line of like Japanese people. I don't know why is that.
Well, Ed, how many hours did you show up?
And I missed my flight by 10 minutes, and they said, "Oh yeah, we decided to book out." That's not my fault.
Okay, let me just say this right now because I've had experienced this because my husband's from Germany. I had to plan for immigration, traveling stuff. Yeah, when you are going through international security, it's going to take a lot longer. It is said that you need to give yourself at least 3 to 4 hours waiting time before your next flight just to get through that part.
Yeah.
Not always.
I always go 2 hours.
Yeah, I missed my flight.
They seem to be on the safe side, make it 4.
How long did you give it, Ed?
Wait. How long did I give what?
When you missed, how much time did you give yourself? This is very important for everyone to see.
When I arrived in New York, I only had an hour to get over to the next terminal because my flight over to New York was delayed because we had engine failure and then a miss in the schedule. And crap like that. So by the time I got over to the desk, I missed my flight by 10 minutes. I called up the flight attendant and they said, "Okay, yeah, so we can get you another flight over there in another 2 hours."
Did you have to pay for that?
No, I did not.
Okay, that's good to know.
And as a way of, saying sorry because they closed the gate early, they upgraded me.
Nice. Oh, that was
Nice.
sweet of them. Okay, that's good. Yeah. So in advance to all to you international flyers, be sure to give yourself at least 3 hours before your next flight to where you need to go to America, because you're going to be in that security line for God knows how long.
Yeah. Well, in Ed's case, it doesn't sound like his fault. It's just the way the ticket was set up, right?
Yeah, it is.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was never told as soon as I got because when you had to go over from London to New York, what you needed to do is you had to go through that sign-in sheet where you have to fill out like a maplip. What was it that you called them? Is that
Maplip?
Maplip, yeah, that. Fill in one of those to say like why you're in the country. Then you go through an interview where you have to say the exact same things. Then you've got to go over to a pickup bin where they've thrown all of your suitcases on the floor. And you've got to tell them which one it is. It's like, that's mine. Okay. And then they put it back on the conveyor belt again. And then you've got to go through airport security, run all the way. Because I was over at gate 1 when I was doing all this check-in stuff. I finally get all my baggage. And I'm like, I've got to run over to gate 32. I was like, what the fuck? And I had 20 minutes to get over there. And in that time, the gate closed 10 minutes early.
I remember when I first saw you, Ed, we were walking back from Brony Con after getting our stuff pre-registered, me and Emerald, and you were so drunk.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, this was midday. This wasn't like a nighttime. This is
no, Ninja, you don't understand. There is wonderful drinks at the airport.
Just like he's
yeah,
you were absolutely blasted.
I have a question for Emerald.
Oh, okay, go on.
Okay, what was the favorite thing you ate here in America?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is a good question. Okay, actually, no, that's actually a really easy question. First night that we were there, we went to this sort of seafood place. It was, I think, McCormick's and something, but like it was
surf and turf food.
Yeah. It was surf and turf, and I ordered crab cake for the main course. Holy shit! It was amazing.
The best thing you've ever tasted?
Oh, I mean, like I've tasted a lot of things, and I've I've been around. I've tasted a lot, but like in terms of like food that I've had in America, like that crab was just absolutely amazing. Like part of my brain actually forgets what was in it, but I kind of don't want to know like what was in it aside from the crab because it was just so goddamn orgasmic. But
wow.
Well, I can't believe we call that a foodgasm.
I was about to say, Emerald, if you never make it as a Brony analyst, just know you should review food.
Oh, yes! I will do that in a heartbeat. I had this is a little off topic, but we so my dad like works abroad a lot, and he works with just like a few people like from the States, and he had a friend come over once to the house, and we sort of like made this cheese platter, but we like did something fancy with bread. And like he sent my dad an email saying like how did you do that thing with the bread? So my dad came to me and he was like, hey, like, you know, do you want to make a movie? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to make a movie. So the two of us kind of invented this character called like the Manic Chef, who just like makes food, where it's just like, so today, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna make some toast. My wife is leaving me soon.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, that took a turn right off the cliff.
Yeah, that's why it's called the Manic Chef.
Oh my god.
So, you know, if the whole fanfic thing doesn't work out, you know, I've got that to fall back on. That.
Okay.
You should totally make a side channel called the Manic Chef. I will personally commission Lightning Bliss to make vectors
into the mixture. Kids love it.
Okay, so I have a question.
No, go ahead.
So how does it feel knowing that your greatest claim to fame is being a tennis ball?
Wait, what?
If that's the one thing that I'm remembered for, I will absolutely take it, because like that video was like way too much fun to write. I actually expected.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wait, what?
She forgot her own video.
Yeah, Lissy forgot for a brief moment.
Oh, like I'll never forget. I mean, like I was the one who was the ball for like I don't know an hour. I was but no, if that's the one thing that I'm remembered for, I will take it. I actually expected way more. Like because I had like a little laminate of Emerald Comet like around my neck, and I expected like one or two people who like said that, oh, like you're that guy. I expected like at least one of them to go, oh, you're the tennis ball guy. It's like yeah, I'm the tennis ball guy. Never happened, unfortunately. But yeah, no regrets on being turned into a tennis ball, because that video was like so much fun to write.
I'm surprised nobody went up to you asking you to sign their tennis ball.
Sign a tennis ball. God,
tennis ball.
I have to ask as well. How stressful was it to sit next to British Ninja for 8 hours?
My heart was in my mouth, and halfway through the thing, I wanted to find the nearest window and jump out of it.
Into the ocean we go. I'll just fucking swim the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take the booze crate with me, so I'll have something to do on the way down, and I'll make sure it has a parachute too, so we're all good.
Okay, so I got a question.
Seriously, Emerald, you're making a Father Ted reference.
Father Ted is the greatest show to come out of this country, and I will hear no words to the contrary.
Okay, Toon has a question.
Alright, so the main thing about your OC, main thing, is that you have like the floofiest fucking hair ever. So I just gotta say, at Brony Con, how many times did people ask you, oh my god, your hair is so fluffy, can I pet it?
Did Keychi do that?
I was going to say, the best question should be, how many times did Keychi try to steal your hair?
I feel like, though, that if you took my hair and Keychi's hair, it would just be way too much hair to handle. Like, the rift and the universe would implode within itself if our hairs ever combined, so probably not going to happen. But surprisingly,
sorry, but I ship it.
I was actually not going to do it for a change.
And then you had Lightning Bliss on. What a great idea that was.
Oh, I didn't judge my co-host choices, boy.
I didn't mean to. We kind of skipped over on the original question, Emerald. How much did BC run for you?
It was pretty much around the same that the editor was saying. Because I think that the hotel might have been a little more expensive. Because like the you were staying in the Hilton, was it, or were you staying in the Renaissance?
We stayed in
Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Are you a regular connoisseur there? Would you like some champagne to go with that?
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, okay. I think it was like the Hilton was $131 a night, and the Renaissance was $153 a night.
You know what?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, and it's further away from the con. You got robbed.
I'm gonna.
But the rooms were nicer, because like the actual thing about like where it occurred to me that I was glad like what we paid for was I went I think this was the Saturday and I was walking back with it was Tyandaga and Aeon back to like one of their rooms that was in the Hilton, and we walk in and I'm just thinking to myself, geez, this place is like a fucking matchbox. There was like it was so tiny, and then like I'm comparing this to like the room that myself and British were staying in. I was like, no, you know what, I'm totally fine with like a 10-15 minute walk away from the convention center. If like it means
it was like twice the size of a Hilton room. We went over there to Pastel and Gear Grinder's place.
Yeah.
Fucking
but no, you didn't have a vendor table to run, so it's you don't mind carrying stuff.
Yeah, of course. Like it makes sense for some people to stay in a hotel that's connected to the place if you if you have to run a table. But I mean, like for a casual con goer, like I was just it was grand for me, just like just paying a little extra for a bit more room and a bit more comfort. I was fine with it.
I had completely tongue tied there. Emerald. And this is important. This is going to torture whoever comes in the right answer. Who here is a closer friend to you, British Ninja or editor?
Well, Ed, I'm very sorry, but honestly, it is British. I mean, like British was the first internet friend who.
Well, all right. So after you screwed up the Renaissance, I was going to say I'm going to get you drawn as Zapp Brannigan. Guess who's going to be Kip?
British, launch the missiles. Yes, maybe the weary side for once.
The Renaissance, some champagne. Aluminium, the way it's meant to be said.
Emerald, what's your field of study?
Oh, for college that I'm going. Yeah, for college.
Yes.
Film and TV production. So I'll be doing like screenwriting, photography, film history, making movies, making TV shows, basically that kind of thing.
Oh, that's good news.
Then I got a question about that then. I just had a pure curiosity because I threw it at Ninja at one point. So when you do graduate, ever thought about moving to America?
Honestly, I haven't actually thought about really moving when I graduate. I mean, like, you know, not because I'm like, you know, I was born here and like, you know, that kind of thing, or like, you know, like Ireland's the home or whatever. I mean, if business opportunities arise for you know, that are in America, I may move. But the thing that I usually do is that I kind of like focus on, you know, just kind of what's going on and sort of figure out the rest as it comes. So right now, no. But if something pops up where it's like, hey, like we want you to make this thing over in, like, I don't know, like New York or Oregon or some of that, it's like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Pretty much,
So,
yeah.
What's likely to happen is
We'll get you a beret just like Tommy.
Starving artists they are.
I will get my Tommy Oliver beret.
Indeed.
I actually liked when we were at BC, I really liked Riley's hat because like that just struck me as just like such a director's hat. So
That's
I
a
think
Boy Toys hat.
like,
That's a
We're talking about Boy Toys hat.
what?
We're talking about Boy Toys hat.
Yeah, you don't know.
Don't crush my dreams, Bliss.
Okay, for those who don't know, what Riley is Aeon's boy toy.
Okay.
Oh, my.
Yeah, no, we've teased him about that.
Oh, he's
No,
definitely
it's like me
watching
and
this.
Riley, we love to tease each other, we love to butt heads and whatnot, so, like, Riley likes to be all like, yeah, Blissy, I hang out with Aeon more than you, and I'm like, yeah, you're just his boy toy.
It's kind of true, unfortunately.
I love you, Riley!
Alright, I got a question. So Emerald, out of all the panels you went to, what was the most entertaining one that you went to?
Ooh, right, okay. Which ones did we go and see?
Okay.
TF2. I went to one that was kind of early on the Sunday, which was like for fic writing. But I think honestly, the most entertaining for me, like just because of what happened at the end of it, was the TF2 panel.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I think we'll have that. But also I think what else? Am I allowed to tie that with the with Roundtable? Because Roundtable was just entertaining as all hell.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Dude, yeah, like just Key, like Key rusing everybody just there on that table was pretty amazing.
The thing
And
is,
also
I kind of felt that she hadn't watched it anyway, and I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to watch it either.
Hey, I was
I
a good
was
fucking
a
boy.
little mad that she didn't, but at the same time, I don't blame her.
It's Key. What can you expect?
See, like the thing is, because that she made such a thing out of it, like that massive build up towards the end, I couldn't even be mad at her about it.
We have a fun story about that.
Oh, really? Go on.
Yeah, no,
that
for
was fun.
getting ready for the round table, well, you should know, Ninja.
Of course.
Ninja's like, I hadn't seen it myself. So we went back and watched, I think, a good 20 minutes of the MLP movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that aged you. My word, that was stiff. That was...
I'm gonna tell him about the buttons thing because that was legitimately the most funny part of the whole
Oh,
film.
fuck you too.
Like, okay, so at this current time, you know, FNGR is currently dating a lovely last name Buttons, you know. And so we're watching the MLP movie, and it's cringy as all hell. And like, there's this really awkward pony who gets up on stage, she starts singing, and then everyone just turns and goes, "Buttons!" And everyone in the room slowly turned to Anthony, and he was like, "I'm gonna kick your ass."
Wait, okay, you compared his new girl to Lickety Split.
Same name.
No, her name
like
is Lickety Split.
Well, and well, there was I crap you not. It was a different horse.
Why would you do that?
Your power level is showing.
I think we just broke Bliss.
This is
Like-
yeah.
Bliss.
We're only half an
Bliss,
hour
cartoon
into
Bliss.
this.
Take
Yeah,
this
you know what? Me
Take
and
this cookie
Ninja are
and
going.
calm down.
Yeah, we're not going back and watching that movie again. You couldn't
Yeah.
pay
No.
me enough.
We didn't even watch it all the way. We watched it up till the smooz song, and then we was like, okay, that's the best part.
I'm glad Oki's not around to pay us to watch some shit like that. It's the only
Depends
way.
on how much.
Yeah, it'd take a lot. You know what? For $100 each, we'll all marathon it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
For $100 to watch a shitty movie, I would absolutely do that.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, okay, I will.
What's the corniest fan fiction you've ever read, Emerald?
Corniest. I read one. The first one that springs to mind is this story called "But the Kitchen Sink," which was like this crack ship story where Rainbow Dash fell in love with the kitchen sink and then contracted like
That's
yeah.
a classic right
What
there.
the actual
I mean, I hated it. I thought it was actually really dumb, but you know, like that's kind of the corniest thing. Although there is something funny about me bringing that up now. in hindsight of BC, because I went to a panel that was about sort of fanfic writing and fanfic editing, and one of the guys who was up on the stage was the guy who wrote it. And there was like a bit in the thing where like they were talking about like, you know, like giving critique and like critique on other fanfics, and I'm just like slowly sinking in my seat because I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna kill me if I talk to him afterwards. But like I tracked him down afterwards, and I was like, hey, like, you know, you did a really good job up there. I actually the whole thing about criticism like kind of like got me a little bit, because I actually reviewed like But the Kitchen Sink years ago, and he was like, listen, mate, I don't really mind. I fucking hate that story. So like we both had this kind of like weird bonding moment over how much we both didn't like it. But corny, I'd say that one's pretty high on the list.
Considering you had to change your format, are there any projects that you're annoyed that you had to scrap in the interests of time?
Not at all, actually. I mean, like, basically all the projects that I want to get done, I'm actually in the process of doing at the moment. I put out a thing a little while ago which was looking for editors to come on board and edit together the videos that we want to produce for the storyline that I'm making, which is still up, by the way. That's a plug. But
okay, well, yeah, no, I'll
I
link
recommend Dulcet Tones.
Cool, yeah. That's really the only thing that, and again, like, that's still ongoing. I mean, like, there hasn't really been a project that I've sort of had in my head that I couldn't really that's fallen through yet. I also I think today I've had like the beginnings of an idea of what I want to do, and this is very far down the line, but like the beginnings of an idea for what I might do for a Christmas review. But it's kind of come into my head to sort of be like, okay, writing this thing in the way that I want to write it may take a while, and also my dad kind of wants to go away for Christmas, so I may want to get a start on this now before, you know, that kind of goes through.
Oh yes, of course, you're going to Japan.
Scheduling's kind of changed, so we've had to postpone like going there. So the idea now is that we go to Iceland.
What's your proudest work?
My proudest work?
Yes.
That's a good question, actually. God, how do I answer that?
Because you know what the next question is going to be.
What video am I least proud of?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I have a very good answer for that, but I'll go through this one first. I think actually my proudest accomplishment so far has been my horror month videos, which were the this is a while ago. This is like back when you know, Emerald didn't have legs. So like I was myself and my co-writer were like watching Atop the Fourth Wall, and then it was something to do with like Silent Hill. So I got off of it, and then I had to go up against something, you know, that was sort of like what, you know, Linkara faced in that particular episode, and then I like just started writing out this idea of like, you know, a magical sword and like, you know, something to do with some villain. And the like what we ended up doing with the bad guy who ended up in the Cupcakes review was very different from what I originally intended, because like the guy who I pitched it to actually came up with a way better idea, and we ran with it. And the that video is like half an hour long, and my fucking editing software like crashed on me 3 times, so I lost all my progress. But like yeah, it was rough. But like seeing it come out the way it did, and the reception to it, I'd say that looking back on it, that is my the thing that I'm most proud of, for the way it was written and the way it all came together in the end, and how it's set up for everything that's going on now. So yeah, my the horror month videos, definitely.
Well, conversely, what is your least favorite? This
is very easy. I did a review a long time ago. It was my fourth review that I ever did, and it was on a story called A Nightly Guardian. The only one of my reviews, regrettably, which was ever featured on Equistria Daily, and I consider it to be like the worst thing I've ever done. It is the worst thing I've ever done.
I know that feel.
Oh yeah, we've all been there, man. But no, the reason why it's the worst thing I've ever made is because I didn't finish reading that story because I hated it so much, and Jesus, that kicked me in the teeth after I was done with it. I still stand by like sort of the things that I said in that video. I still don't think it's a very sort of well written story, but and like kind of looking back on it now, I kind of say to myself like, oh, you know, like I should have, you know, done this or changed this around. But I think just like the guilt of like knowing to myself that I didn't finish the whole thing the whole way through, and like people in the comments who had read the story and who were like, oh, you missed this, and like you missed this. It's just like I'm lying awake in bed and I just like, shit, they know, it's there in writing.
You seem to have the CloudCuckooCountry ethic of, oh crap, I'm not being completely sincere, someone might notice.
No, yeah, I mean, like I think that, you know, being, you know, sincere enough in your videos, I think, you know, like, is important. I think that people appreciate it, you know, like when you just kind of tell them like exactly what's in the thing. So if I omit something, I feel like I'm kind of lying to the audience in a way, and I just don't like doing that.
Yeah. I have to ask, are you a fan of CloudCuckooCountry?
I actually do watch CloudCuckooCountry, on occasion, and then like every time that I watch CloudCuckooCountry, I'm always reminded of the fact that I'm probably not as intelligent or articulate as he is. But I do enjoy.
No one is.
Do you have any favorite books that you'd like to plug or that we should check out?
Do I have anything that's good around here at the moment? Currently, I'm going through The Green Mile. It's awesome. Stephen King, can't go wrong.
You were writing your own story on the plane journey most of the time.
What now?
How's the progress going on that story you were writing on the plane?
Very slow, very, very slow. This is like for frame of reference, I came up with like an idea for a fantasy story when I was like 16, and then I'm only like really starting to dive into it now. So it's getting there, but it's probably still a ways off from the from being like fully completed.
What's the premise, if you don't mind me asking? Well, I already know it, but for a question's sake.
How would I? See, as soon as I get around to describing my own work, I get all tongue-tied.
It's super in-depth and like really complex. I don't know if you understand the themes and.
It's not even like that, because like when it comes to, like setting out themes and stuff, like themes to me are like always something that I sort of think of afterwards. It's like, oh, like I guess you can kind of draw a comparison between that and that. Okay, I guess that works. It's like my I'm sorry, I'm not telling you what the premise is. It's just like my brain is in this at the moment. It's like.
You're tired. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. My concerns when it comes to writing, firstly, is to tell a good story and make sure that the characters are fun and believable to an extent. Like go through a natural progression to become better than when they were at the start. And then I'm kind of thinking like, okay, so how do I work with like symbols and theming and all that kind of thing? So yeah, that's that.
What would you recommend to people who are new to fan fiction? They have no idea what they like or dislike. What's a great story they could jump into?
Oh God, you don't know what you like or dislike.
Well, it's someone who's just completely neutral to the idea of fan fiction.
I'm trying to think now, actually, like just good fanfics to get into. I mean, like it kind of does depend on what you into, on what you're into, because the fanfic is just like such a broad thing. Like there's so many things that you can look up, like even on FNFiction, there's a whole like plethora of things that you can go for. Like there's tragedies, there's romance stories, there's like grimdark, weird crossovers. There was a whole plethora of stuff. So I guess my advice, if you were just gonna look for something to do with fanfic, would just be to just type into the search bar just something that you're into, and then just sort of scroll down the list and just check it out.
Have you ever thought about doing readings for fan fiction, kind of like Wooten?
I've thought about it on occasion, and like I've had a couple people say to me like that you've got a really good voice for narration and all that kind of thing, and I have tried it like one or two times, just casually just reading one or two things, but I don't know if I'd go professional with it, because I don't know if I have the stamina to like properly pull together a full-fledged sort of fic reading like the stuff that Scribbler or Wooten or Lost Narrator do, but I don't know, we'll see.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, if the Secret Rift ever needed a narrator, I think we'd be damn lucky if we could land you for the role.
Emerald has a very soothing voice. It can fill a lot of registers.
I'm currently
like the whole
jobs,
time.
Guys.
Like I know this is probably a custom in Ireland or Britain and stuff, but it's not so much here unless you're a close spouse or partner to the person. But you were calling me darling a lot.
It's just a thing that we do. It's like just
that is true. Yeah.
It's just like offhandedly, just like I'll call people like darling or love or just like whatever. It's just I don't know. It kind of just is a thing that we do here, just like every now and again. It's just like you're leaving somewhere, or like you pick up something. It's like yeah, cheers, love, thanks. Then
you're like cheers, love, hello, my darling, how are you, my dear?
It's rare that I hear it here, but when I do, I always find it flattering. But apparently, like my mother corrects me and says, they're not really supposed to say that unless they're like really close to you. You know that, right? I'm like, no, I did not. And then I hear it over there over across the pond, and it's like, oh well, that's normal for them. So when you were calling me that, I just found it flattering.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, because you go one place and the way that one country handles something is like totally different from the way that another country handles something. Because like I think, like, as an outsider coming to America, this was a little more noticeable. Sort of the way that Americans kind of talk to each other is different from the way that, like, people kind of over here talk to each other. And, like, it's difficult to explain, but just hearing it, you can kind of, just tell as an outsider, that you're not really in home anymore. This is, like, just how these people converse.
I don't think it's difficult to explain. I think just people need to realize that there is English and then there's American English. They are similar, but they are slightly different, and everybody seems to forget that. So
we had when we were waiting for the first flight, the first layover that we had from Philadelphia to Baltimore. So we were waiting just by the sort of at the gate, waiting for the flight to sort of pull in, and this woman just sort of like picks up the PA and just like starts talking to it. Now, I come from a country where people 9 times out of 10 are sort of naturally fast talkers. I really needed to pay attention to what she was saying to like properly get in every single word.
She sounded like an auctioneer. I have
150 of this. People come to Henders. I have 150. I have 150. Do I have 130? Do I have 130?
Oh my God, she's a southerner.
Yeah.
No, she was. I'm pretty sure she was, actually, now that you say it.
She's probably from the stockyards.
It was just like even my mom, Mama Comet, for frame of reference, like
Mama Comet.
I love it when he calls her that. It's awesome.
No, Mama Comet was a complete boss and could kick all of our asses, so I'm not going to make fun of her.
This is great. But like she looked at the woman, then like looked back to me with just this complete face of like, what the fuck is?
Did you get any of that?
What?
Did you get any of that? That was like her response.
Did you get any of that? It was like, no way.
To be fair, to be fair, if I ran into someone like that, I could probably just barely keep up because in my defense, I have a processing disorder. So, even I kind of struggle, even with redneck language, I could struggle. Like, did the creator get you?
Wouldn't do very well over in Scotland.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a video that I send to some people every now and again. It's of this Irish comedian called Tommy Tiernan, who is really who's really funny, by the way, if anybody wants to look at this stuff. Yeah. But he did this one bit on the Cork accent in Ireland, which, so for frame of reference, Cork is like way down the south of the island, and it's so he's describing the accent, and he's going like, it's a bit like listening to a tinker trying to speak French, because it has this like quality of like it's kind of sing song. It's like you're talking to someone, and I've met a few people from Cork, and it's like you can understand them, but you really have to pay attention, because like you look away for 1 second and then you look back and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because it's like I'm going to attempt to do it now. It's like welcome to Cork, but where from yourself, where you from? I'm from Wicklow. The big fuckers up there, I don't like, one of the great things about being alone in this city, boys, and no matter where you go, you never walk alone, but there's not many places you can saying that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being taught by that?
I know some of those words.
Yeah, exactly. Oddly enough, I understood every single word he said.
Wait, what?
I said, oddly enough.
Oh my God, yeah. But like, I actually find it like kind of funny, for being like quite a small country, how like sort of diverse the accents are. Like you go all the way down south and it's one way, but then you go all the way up north and it's something completely different.
So it's a bit early to really see a pattern here, but off your first 2 entries on the, is it easier to do breakdowns on uninteresting pieces?
I think so, actually. Yeah, because like when you find something that doesn't really hold your interest, or like you can see something that's not working. I mean, I find myself that it's a lot easier to sort of break it down and sort of see what the repeating problems in it are. You can draw a comparison to to something else that maybe did the idea better. It's like I'll give you an example. The fic that I'm actually going to be reviewing next. It very prominently features the Cutie Mark Crusaders and Applejack, but the problem is that the way that the guy wrote Applejack and Applebloom's dialogue, like normally when you read a script, like like all the dialogue will be written out normally, but like the director or whoever would tell you like this character has a southern accent. It's like, okay, you know, like, and from watching the show, even if you were to just read a fanfic which has Applejack talking in it, but the dialogue was written normally, your brain sort of fills in the gaps of being like, oh, you know, like Applejack's just talking with her accent. This guy wrote out phonetically all of, you know, the as and sugar and, you know, like as and sugars and like all that kind of thing. And like it got to a point where like I hit chapter 10 and it was just annoying the shit out of me. And so like one of the things that I want to sort of point out is bring up that example, but also to draw an example to back to the Green Mile actually, was that there's a point in the book where King sort of says that this character pronounces a word in one certain way. He writes the word out phonetically and then doesn't do it ever again, because you know from that point on it's like, okay, like that guy just has this accent, so you know you can fill that in. So yeah, I suppose when you find stuff like that, or stuff that, you know, like that you yourself have seen done better in other works, it is easier to strip it down to a certain extent. In some cases, like there was a story that I reviewed a little while ago called Her Own Pony, and there's a bit in that story where one of these characters, the story sort of describes the way that he pronounces the word pony in a very certain way. It's like he rolled the syllables off his tongue, so it's like, you know, pony. So you kind of get, or at least I got the idea in my head of like, you know, this character has like you know, like kind of a gravelly, or like, you know, maybe some sort of even a little bit of a twang to his accent. So I think that actually it does depend on just the way that the character is written. And in that sense, yeah, like you can normally pick up on an accent, but I think again, like that just depends on the way the guy writes it. Because like normally when I read something, unless it's just stated otherwise, you know, whether it's fanfic or not fanfic, I either hear it in the voice of the characters that I already know it's their voice, or I just sort of substitute my own voice if it's, you know, just another author's work.
All right, I got a question. What are some challenges you face when it comes to reviewing fanfics as opposed to like what the other, I guess, Branaus's people do?
Having a consistent update schedule is
yeah.
Because like, you know, because like fic reading actually, like, it sort of depends on how long the thing actually is. Because what I've started doing to bridge the gap between one big review to the next big review is I do like just like quick sort of talks about one-shot stories. And that in a way actually does like kind of help, you know, keep the audience, or at least I think, you know, like keep the people who watch invested while, you know, I actually get to work on the thing. So when you're dealing with the, you know, sort of a bigger fanfic, it really does depend on how long the thing actually is. It's sort of one of the reasons why I've kind of made it a promise to myself that I probably won't review Fallout Equestria, because it's so taxing to just like read the thing. It's just like, I'll sit down one day and just be like, yeah, okay, like I'm really gonna start getting into this, and then I scroll down and then I see that one of the chapters is like 50,000 words long, and I'm just like,
okay, what is that? 45 chapters long?
It's something like that, yeah.
That was one of the questions. That's one of the questions I was going to ask you. Like, what was your view on Fallout Equestria? Because I've never read it myself.
And there's two different versions of Fallout of Equestria as well.
There's so many different
The original one with Little Pip.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I guess I'll answer your question now. I haven't read it either. But what I may do one day, if I get around to it, is I may talk about Project Horizons after I read Fallout Equestria, or like any of the other sort of things.
Is that the one with Blackjack?
That's the one with yeah, that's the one with Blackjack.
Right.
I know all these characters, yeah, I've never read the books.
Yes.
If you wanted a recommendation on people who could work with you on that, let's see, Ty Dega's fairly versed on that.
Yeah,
cool.
He's reviewed.
I remember Ty's big breakout video was the Fallout one.
Yeah.
A&Y is also a massive fan of Fallout.
Yeah, A&Y, Vector Brony, definitely.
Yeah. Have like a little squad going when we go in to review this thing.
Yeah. I'm just making you know what? He probably wouldn't talk to you, but I was going to say I know Moliminous read actually a fair amount of that. Moving along.
I actually don't know who that is.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
you may want to edit that out. I may have just pissed somebody off. Don't do it.
That ain't getting edited out.
Well,
no, that's staying right in. But don't
beautiful.
you know he has 100,000 subs? Anyways.
Don't you know Moliminous? Okay.
and 99,000 are bots.
The thoughts and opinions of Limbo podcaster. Oh no, they do. Never mind.
No, like,
the thoughts and opinions of this podcast definitely does reflect.
That was the absolute shame of losing that one, is because freaking Faith actually gave respect to Vector Brony, and that is a short list.
Oh, boy.
I'm actually out, so it's all you guys.
I'm afraid I'm out too. I had a few questions, but asked them all.
Yeah, we're good. I guess we're going to hit stop record. Had a wonderful time, everybody.